Hello, everybody in between telephones and computers. I am that lazy, and I'm a perky purple platypus, and welcome, finally, to the Stanley's Parable.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Maybe I missed a memo. Wow.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Of course, good sir, of course.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really worth it being here in the room.
Yep.
A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ooh, that is a nice painting. Wait, that's a painting? That's a photograph.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
It did?
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Oh. Well, then, if everybody's gone, I might as well just, enjoy being me. Because nobody else is here.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Ah, I see. What if I look at this painting? Wow, that's a nice painting, indeed. Indeed. Can I drink that? What about that? Can I get on this table? Oh, dreams will come true today. I shall surmount this table. I'm the king of the world. I feel powerful. On this table. Narrator. Look at me. Bet nobody else has done this. Oh yeah. I think the game's trying to send me a message.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Have we gone up here? I don't think so.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Oh.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please,
is it me?
Stop trying to make every decision
We're gonna
by
have
yourself.
me time?
Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Okay, so it's not me.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. Ooh. She's been waiting.
She likes cigarettes. And forklifts and boxes. And cigarettes. Very flat cigarettes.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Why?
To reach out to her.
Can you help me? I'm scared.
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I'm pretty scared right now. I'm not even gonna lie. Why are you asking? Am I randomly circulating this phone like this? The moon circulates the Earth? That's a great question. It's because I am in orbit, like the moon. Look at me. I am a waxing crescent. Are you guys proud of me? Look. I'm gonna pick up this phone. Just know. I know the moon.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm
Are
just
you
pulling the bread out of
13?
the oven. Oh,
No,
right.
I want to leave. I can't move.
Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh, hi, honey. How are you?
Gotcha. Oh, come on.
Wow, we
Did
are
you
really
actually
white.
think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Nope.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
What? No. 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 Lamp. Please, I love you. I've always loved you. You can help me, right?
Go away, you stupid shit.
Lamp, how could you?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Hey, baby. What you doing? Oh. What if I hit H? Nope, I got hit 5. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow.
Really?
He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he
terrible
pushes
alignment
is a
of-
reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Of course.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to
Oh,
do.
hey, look, that's
Now
my
he's
desk.
pushing a button.
I like my desk.
Now he's eating lunch. Now
eating lunch?
he's going
No, I'm
home. Now he's coming back to work.
I would like to
One
go in
might
the
even
bedroom.
feel sorry for
Wanna go in
him,
the bedroom?
except that he's
No, you don't,
chosen
'cause
this
you're a
life.
mannequin.
But in his mind,
You wanna go in the
in his mind, he
in
can
the
go on
bedroom? Yes, you do,
fantastic
'cause you're a
adventures.
refrigerator. Let's
From
go
behind his
refrigerator.
desk, Stanley dreamed of wild
move it?
expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful.
It was?
And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Ooh, I love TV. Is this a TV? That is a nice TV.
And so he began to fantasize
Where's my
about his
TV?
own job.
Hey.
First, he imagined
Hey.
that one day while at work,
Hey.
he stepped up from his
Hey.
desk to realize that all
Hey.
of his co-workers, his boss,
Ooh.
everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
That sounds like
The
an interesting
thought
story.
excited him terribly.
I bet. Ooh, time to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions
it's
would
just a
mean
creepy
something
mannequin?
was almost too wonderful to behold.
Ah,
As he wandered
we're
through
having
this
Thai
fantasy
chicken
world,
salad.
he began to fill it with many possible
a very
paths
good
and
thing to eat
destinations.
at the Panera
Down
Bread.
one path lay
I
an
would
enormous
recommend.
round room with monitors
Christina,
and mind controls.
that's a call out to
And
you.
down
You're
another was a
welcome.
yellow
Hail
line
Santa.
that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Ooh, yes! Oh, you know we gotta tell them a story. So, once upon a time, I woke up half naked in a Denny's parking lot, right? And there's cocaine to my right and a hooker to my left. Except the cocaine was purple. And I knew instantly what the fuck just happened. See, somebody poured purple Kool-Aid on my cocaine. And I think it's the hooker. So I got real mad, right? And I went in my car, opened up the glove box, I pulled out the mighty dildo sword of justice. And I slapped her with it. I slapped her with it a lot. And then, you know, she got up, found purple Kool-Aid underneath her, and I was mad. I was so mad she made my nose weird when I snorted my cocaine because it was like, ooh, grapes, you know? And that wasn't good. We didn't like that. No, thank you, good sir. So, what we did is, we beat the cocaine with the dildo sword. We took it and we went. And, yeah. So the moral of the story is, yes.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free.
I feel
Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be?
Look how much
Perhaps
space
if
I
he
have.
played just one more time.
Hey! Creepy mannequin, I love you.
But there is no answer.
Hey!
How could there possibly be?
I was
In
talking
reality,
to
all
her.
he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has.
Yeah,
Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself?
Donuts.
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Include donuts. Tell me, don't hit 8 if you want donuts. I would not hit 8. I love donuts. Donuts are great.
I suppose
But
I
no
can't,
donuts, so I'm gonna
not
hit
in
it.
the way I want him to.
Give me
I
donuts.
don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll
Really?
try once more to convey all this to him.
Wait.
I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see.
I'll say what?
Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Oh.
And Stanley pushed a button.
No donuts?
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button.
This is pretty
And I
sad. You accepting nihilism, Mr. Narrator? That is not allowed! Become an existentialist or an absurdist. Either one. Hey, no. This is not okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
I
it
will
mean?
win again.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That ending is mine. I took it. Right with intention.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Which door? On my left? Okay. Let's think. What haven't we done? Maybe we started playing. Yeah, I think I've done it all. I'm gonna search some stuff up now. I'll be back. And I am back. You see how smooth that transition was? It was almost like I never left. You guys are not gonna see this coming. Watch this. Oh, you know, I just realized you're not gonna see this thing coming because it's not like there's a secret ending or anything. No,
Yet there was not a
doesn't
single
exist.
person here either.
Don't get fired.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet,
Thank you.
but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Cut! Thank you.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley
It's
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Time. I got this. Oh, no, no, no.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered
means this
aloud
man liked
to
alcohol.
nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk,
Right.
pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk.
Of course.
What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried
Oh,
below
I'm gonna
his
get an
feet.
achievement.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't
8.
possibly have known this.
8. Of course. 2.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened
This story
passageway.
is so well written. So, the plot line's great. We love it, we love it, we love it. Why am I here? You guys gonna watch this again? Oh! Oh wait, this works out! Because,
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though
How
he
do I
felt
describe
more
it?
free to think for himself, to
you
question
know how I
the
didn't
nature
say
of his job.
turn
Why
on
did
mind
he feel
control?
this
I gotta
now,
do that.
when for years
I
it
got
had never
to
occurred to
do
him.
that.
This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
1 sec, I gotta do something.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
How the fuck did I get here? What? Stanley? Stanley, no. Bad Stanley. Stanley, look what you did. You made us go for a long walk. Probably made people watch some stuff that was boring, Stanley. We don't like that. We don't like boring. You know why? Because beige is boring. We don't like beige here. If you do like beige, you're wrong. Because beige sucks. Beige is the worst color. Ever. If you say you like beige, then you're boring. Because beige is just
But of course, Stanley thought better of
the
it
most
and
basic
realized he simply
of
had
anything.
too much to live for.
It's like liking green Skittles. Like, how could you do something like that? Whoa. Oh yeah, we done that. Speed run!
The lights rose on an...
That depends. How much
But here
spaghetti
was the
did
proof,
this man eat?
the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking,
Four.
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Four,
Stanley
my dudes.
decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
No, 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 no,
For
no, no,
he
no.
would dismantle the controls once and for all.
That is where you were so wrong. Ooh. That is a big button. There's 5. I want this monitor. Can I has?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
Oh,
of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
It doesn't. You are right.
Oh, dear me. What's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Yes.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons,
yellow button.
These colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Sold?
I found it.
Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless, to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Ah.
Stepping in.
Ooh. Got him. What's in here? Nice. Apparently, we go down here and we make our escape. Remember? Escape. Yeah, you do. So this time we don't die. Oh, nobody can disturb me. It's all silence. Skirty Mick Birdie Bert 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 Bert. See? That's it. This is science. It is the dark. You are now leaving. Okay. Now. I'm going to talk about my most favorite idea ever. So, they say, and I don't really believe it, but like, if it happens, great, that, like, in 100 or so years, we're gonna have, or 150, we're gonna have fabrication. In case you don't know what that means you put some random shit in, it realigns the molecules of the thing, and makes the thing you want. So basically, 3D printer, but you put an Apple and you get iPhone. Which is awesome, right? But here's my idea. And most people are like, Will, it's fucking genius. Or Will, it's fucking stupid. And here it is, okay? So, I say poop steak. And you're like, what the fuck is poop steak? And that's what I'm here to tell you today. See, poop steak is when you shit in the fabricator. But, it turns your shit into steak. Since it turns it into steak, you turn the poop back into some other kind of food. Hence, poop steak. Because the steak is made from poop, but not really. It's poop steak. It's poop food. We doo-doo bunzo. We're like flies then, because the flies are like, give me my doo-doo water. And then they eat the doo-doo water. Which is awesome, because if you think about it, there's a lot of supply of doo-doo water. But there's not a lot of supply of normal food. The flies are just like, give me that fat doo-doo water. I love doo-doo water. Doo-doo water. Am I doing this right? What? What's... Okay, I did it. I don't know what happened. Next one. Da 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 da.
Stanley decided to go to the...
Bop! I'm gonna find you. I know another secret, boy. What's this? Watch. I forgot how to do it already. Oh! 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 We're close. No! I did it.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
What?
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
Absolutely.
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Just like the way.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place.
I would have, because I'm doing a Let's
now
Play.
think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
Yes.
Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration?
A lot.
And this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one?
I don't know yet.
Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever. And ever. Cheers.
Cheers. Good sir.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Yeah? Mr. Shah? You help me fight off the darkness, Mr. Shah. Yes, I will. Just watch the next video and you'll know what I'm talking about. That I haven't recorded yet.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map
No, I
until
didn't.
he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Of course.
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yes, I am.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now.
Oh, okay.
You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I am enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton.
Of course.
Did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Of course. Good sir. Do we continue now? Nice window. Very nice window. I love. Thank you. so smart. Does it ever stop? Nope, I don't think it does. So there are 2 more endings. One of them I'm not going to do, so I'll leave a link in the description.
Stanley decided to go to
Shut
the
up.
meeting room to check on his co-workers.
Wrong.
He never functioned well
Wait, is
by
that right?
himself and constantly needed support and
Oh,
guidance from
they're drunk.
others. So the thought of total solitude
It's
was
time
terrifying to him.
to finish this game.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he
Last
wanted to
time
stop
down this
by the
corridor.
employee lounge first, just to
I'm
admire
gonna
it.
miss you. Painting.
Yes, truly a room worth
Employee
admiring.
lounge.
But
Bye.
eager to get back to business,
Printer.
Stanley took
gonna
the
miss you.
first open
Painting.
door on
I'm
his
gonna miss you.
left.
Good sir. I'm gonna miss you. Good sir. Mr.
Stanley
Shah.
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Mr. Shah. Goodbye. Mr. Shah. Goodbye.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's
Ah.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten
My teddy bear?
about. Please,
Ralph.
stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Okay.
Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Ah.
This is it,
waifu.
Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside.
Mr. Shah.
To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
No.
Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? Now, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually
hit E.
chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was
I didn't choose
possible.
incorrectly,
Let
I
me
hit E.
double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not
That
picking
is
up
not
the
what
phone
happened.
is actually
You are a
somehow an
liar.
incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices?
It's
What did you-
because I
Wait a
hate
second. Did I
tentacles.
just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner?
Ah.
You're not Stanley.
No.
You're a real person.
Uh-huh. You're on television, buddy.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This
Roll
is
the
why
cameras
you've been able
live
to make
for you
correct
right
and
now.
incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you
You got
run
pranked.
around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or
Right.
did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well,
it's
I
a
won't
video
have
game.
that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please
Education
observe
is
this helpful
important.
instructional video.
Okay.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous.
This is
For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice.
We like
He could
Stephen.
spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations.
Let's go, Stephen.
Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which
Flowers
choice
and
would
burn.
you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking
Fish.
with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real.
Ah.
Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking.
I have
Turn to a partner
solve
and
a
practice
math
saying,
equation with
"My
fish."
goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Ah. My goodness, it is 4:30. I must fill out a math equation that equals fish.
Excellent.
You're welcome.
Making choices on a regular basis is the best
Good
part
choice.
to a healthy
Square
decision-making process.
ass. I like it.
Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day.
Ooh.
Do you make more than 8? Less?
Ooh.
And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant.
While that
and
might
the
be
feeling
true, we
should
can't
subside.
accept nihilism.
At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Of course.
Welcome back.
uh,
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction.
Danger is
Not to
everywhere.
worry. Now that
I
you're
knew it.
properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay. Wait.
Now that we know
Sure,
your
I can kill
choices are
myself.
meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ah, let's see. Oh, thank you.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would.
What?
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Stanley don't know directions because, as you said, he is the dumb.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Yep, that's good. Oh, never mind.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that
Everything is
my
okay.
story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What
I
did you
got-
get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the
Dangers
game undone?
everywhere.
Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Okay. Whoa. Where am I? This looks like Portal 2.
Oh! I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you.
Yeah.
You, who thought you were so clever.
I am
Now look
clever.
where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see?
Yes.
Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it.
Yeah, but this doesn't
That
make any
thought
sense.
hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a
Oh,
child.
no.
Oh,
What kind of
my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
Of course.
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Thank you, Orange Senpai.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ooh, what this?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Shark 115, Night Shark 1105, night, 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 night of the Shark 105, Night Shark 105.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
I am the most
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 105. No. Night Shark 105?
Fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously.
I don't think I can
If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
A second chance.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That's our boy.
Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
Wow, you kind of look like the guy from,
I need you to
what's
make a choice.
I don't know the actor's.
I need you to walk through the door. Are you
Yes!
listening to me?
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
As I was saying, he looks like the guy from Night in the Museum, that actor. Kind of. Well, that's it for this game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Pencil sharpener, hell yeah, boy!